Good evening, everyone. Here we go. Hello everyone, welcome to the evaluation race here at Gavra Race. I'm Jack, TM53, your commentator as always for the Weekend League. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be back once again this evening to commentate on the Weekend League 1 around, you guessed it, Mexico City once more around this fabulous circuit. And we're here tonight once again for this evaluation race, just like we saw earlier from Weekend League 2, we are here for Weekend League 1, where a number of drivers are going to be out for today's session with a point to prove after some of their efforts from last season's races, and of course the new drivers that are here as well to try and make an impact on the Hall of Fame within Gavra Racing. Now, a couple of lap times are already coming in for this session. I will catch up with those in a moment. I just want to go through the drivers and teams, of course, for the season ahead. So I'll do that now. So for this season, no Alfa Romeos on track at the moment, but we are due to have JDM11 and R-Peter 13 in the Alfa Romeos. In the Alfa Tauris, we are expecting Jolt 7, and as well as him, you have Billy Misu 31, both of those two on circuit at the present moment. In the Alpine, we're going to have J Evans 11, who's out on track, alongside Miles M24. They're both, right, actually amazingly separated by 1,000th of a second, which is fantastic to see on the opening lap. In the Aston Martin, the drivers are Fetz 87 and Gianmarco as well. Fetz out on circuit at the moment. Gianmarco not racing tonight, so we do have John Wick GC racing in that partner Aston Martin car. In the Ferraris, we have Stanchu and Natalie 99, who is already out on track. The only Ferrari out on track, as Fake Knudsen isn't here tonight, but will be joining us for the rest of the season. In the Haas, we have the first driver of Psycho SM. He was a big feature and factor in season 10 of the Weekend League, and as well as teammate in this season in the Haas is Russell Biffin 21. In the McLarens, you've got the Doctor V1, and you've got Fat3D_XGeo, so I'll call him Geo because why not? The Mercedes drivers on circuit, you've got Jackie on Franson, who's there, and his teammate's due to be Jill Bates, but on circuit at the moment. In the Red Bulls, you have Haran Ali, and you also have Pushadino as well, who is in 8th place currently. And in the Williams tonight, you have the normal season regular driver. Where is he on circuit? I'm just looking to find him. I can't actually find him at the moment. I can't see him. But I think at the moment you've got Il Joshi, who's just coming out, who's racing. There you go. That's the one I'm looking for. Il Joshi. Oh, yeah, Il Joshi. Yeah, that's how I'm going to say it for everybody. And his temporary teammate for tonight, a very good driver from last season who's just filled in as teammate. It's Zexify, who's currently in 4th place, having set that 1 minute 17.1 on the medium compound tyres, as he usually tends to do. So, now that you've met the drivers, let's have a look at those who are actually in the lobby and have set some lap times. You've got Psycho SM on pole position provisionally on a 1:16.689. You've got Jolt in second on a 16.8. Russell Biffin also on a 16.8, so very close there. Zexify in 4th on a 17.1. Don't forget he set that lap time on medium compound tyres. J Evans 11, who's in the stadium section at the moment, is in 5th place on a 17.1. Miles as well is on a 17.1. The Doctor V1 on a 17.2 in the McLaren. Fetz on a 17.4. Pushadino on a 17.5, and Shortbread rounds out the top 10 on a 17.6. Shortbread, of course, a former 2-time champion of the Gavra Weekend League. So certainly a couple of Hall of Famers are certainly racing tonight, which will be great to see how they get on, of course, against the season regulars, which will be very, very interesting, I'm sure, to see. A lot of drivers in the pits, though, at the moment, and it looks like a very close lobby already. The top 10 separated by less than 1 second, which is pleasing to see. Race director is watching Il Joshi, but he's going into the pits, so trying to find someone who's on a lap at the moment, which there is. It's John Wick in 14th place, so we'll ride on board with the Aston Martin, coming towards turn 1 for the first time on the flying lap, down into third gear, second gear for John, flicks through the gears, still in second up to third, on fourth on the exit, and then uses the DRS line that's there to give a bit of a speed advantage, of course, for the drivers. Heading towards turn 4 now, on the brakes down into third gear, there's a Mercedes, oh, it's actually his Aston Martin teammate there getting out of the way, and John Wick navigates that quite nicely. Again on the brakes through turn 5 and 6. Really nicely done for John. That's a clean lap thus far. Through the sweepers, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Very difficult to line up these corners. John's done the first part really well. It's always this right-hander, which John's a little bit out on, that can catch drivers up. He's done okay. Second sector beam has just been passed, and now down onto the brakes through third gear into the stadium section. Second gear for John. Down to first actually for John, so he wants to be in the rev band as much as possible. Second gear on the exit, nice and smooth, and lovely delivery of the power for John. What's this lap going to be? That's a very good effort for John, goes right next to his teammate. P9, the Aston Martin, separated by a 10th.5, which is great for the championship prospects. You want two drivers that are a similar pace, and they can both push each other from there forward. That's initial flyer for John, well done to him. See if that is going to be enough, though, to keep him in the top 10. Like I say, very close lobby at the moment. The top 13 now are separated by less than a second, which is brilliant. You've got the other 4 drivers of Harren Ali, Stanchu, Joshi and Jackie-On Franson. You'd expect to be a little bit quicker than that, as Psycho puts in a better effort to extend his gap at the top of the table there. The Haas driver on a 16 flat. Very good effort from him. But you would expect more from Harren Ali. He got 4th place last season, his best result, but he could have had more in the Season 10 league, could Harren, in that Red Bull, but he's got another chance this time around. He's on a lap currently as he comes through the middle sector. He's on the approach for the stadium area. He's 4/10 up on his lap, so this is looking like a positive effort from the Red Bull driver through the, little bit of a wiggle, through the stadium, through turn 14 there, but he's got away with that. Round the final corner at Palatada. What's his lap time going to be? It's 17.90. That little wiggle he had just cost him a lot of lap time there for Harren. Should be expecting more. Stanchu coming onto a lap, the Ferrari. He made a cameo at the end of last season, did Stanchu. He finished 8th and 4th at Abu Dhabi, so he's got some pace for sure to be threatening the points positions. Whether he'll do that tonight, we'll soon find out. But he's coming down this straight, 210 miles an hour for Stanchu. That's the fastest I've seen of anybody, as Russell Biffen puts it into 2nd place in the Haas. The Haas 1-2 at the moment. Gunther Steiner will be laughing in German, as always. But at the moment, Stanchu doing a great first sector. He's a 10th of a second up. Gets the line nice and neat through turn 4 and 5. Could have used a little bit more curb, but it's not the end of the world. There's a yellow flag further up. Joshi has spun round. In 6th gear for Stanchu though. 5th gear as he comes through the left, the right and the left again. He's using 6th gear, nice and steady on the throttle. Nice and committed coming onto the DRS straight. The second part of the lap completed. He's 6/10 up, so this is going to move him up a couple of places, but he needs just that little bit more time to get himself in the top 10 as it stands. Clips the inside of the sausage curb. And through the final 2 corners comes Stanchu. This will be an improvement. 7/10 quicker, and it puts him 14th, ladies and gentlemen. So he is 1.6 off the back of Psycho, but that's still a very close gap. I'm certain that a couple of drivers who are lower than Stanchu at the moment will be hoping and aiming to improve. on their lap times, as well everyone else, of course, because Psycho is the man at the top of the tree currently. Shortbread lining himself up, I think, for another lap. I think he's made a mistake on that former lap, but here he goes. He might not have enough ERS, Mike Shortbread, but he's pulled into the pits now. So he isn't going to do much. The Doctor V1, he's on a lap currently, coming through the second sector in 9th place at the moment is the Doctor, and he's 4/10 up. This could be a very significant improvement for the McLaren team. Down into second gear. A lot of drivers using second gear for this stadium section, not upshifting earlier on either. But second gear, the choice so far from what I've seen, and the Doctor pulls into the pits. Interesting. Did he cut the corner perhaps and invalidate his lap time? That could be the question. As that was looking like a very good lap. So most drivers in the pits at the moment. The rest of them, apart from XGO, who's in 13th place, who's currently, I think he's on a lap at the moment, which he is doing. So hopefully the race director has picked up on the McLaren. He's in 13th. On a lap currently. Sweeps through those corners. The number 53 swings it through turns 7, 8, 9 and 10 as he comes through this right-hander. Got to be careful not to upset the balance of the car as you go through there. It's very easy to do that, especially in low fuel mode, which is what everybody's in. Qualifying fuel effectively. Gio is roughly at the same time as he was at before. Still in third gear. He's the first one I've seen to use that in this session so far. Needs to find some form of improvement, does Gio. Here he comes then towards the start-finish line, and he doesn't. He's a tenth slower. So, more time to find for Gio. Couple of drivers now on their out laps. Both Alpines have gone together. They're actually quite close together on circuit, which I think's been rehearsed a little bit, which is fine. Help each other out. There's no harm in that. And the two Alpines, incredibly, are only a thousandth of a second separated from one and each other, which is amazing. Hello to all those who are watching at the moment. Hope you're enjoying the stream with Gavra. One race tonight, of course, for the evaluation race. Not two races as usual. That starts next week. And do stay as well after the stream ends, because we will be revealing the calendar for this season. Once the racing is done for this first evaluation race, we'll then jump into the calendar reveal, which I'm looking forward to. But right now, the focus is on circuit. The drivers won't be thinking about the calendar. They'll be thinking about how can they take down Psycho, who's currently in P1 on a 16 flat. There's loads of drivers out on the circuit at the moment. Currently watching Billy Misu coming through the second sector at the moment. Is he improving on his lap time as Billy? He is, by a tenth of a second. Not too much. His teammate's not far behind, but he's matching his best time so far. Misu comes through. Oh, Billy's run a bit deep through the stadium. That might just cost him. Let's see what his lap time's going to be as he comes towards the light. He pulls into the pits, so that's game over, and his teammates pulled out as well. They might both have enough time to get back into the pits and get out for another lap. While that's going on, Russell Biffin, he is on his lap at the moment. He's going onto the middle part of the circuit at the moment. He's using DRS now on that third straight, but he's pulled over. So Russell can't find enough time. Are the drivers maxing out a little bit early? They can't find any more time. We'll soon find out as Jay Evans, great effort for the Alpine, moves into 4th position, and Miles, his teammate, goes in front of him and replaces him on the second row of the grid. Only separated, bear in mind, by 300ths of a second. The two Alpines are very close together. Great stuff at the moment to watch. Misu in the pits. Load of drivers on their outlaps at the moment. The one that the drivers were kind of worried about, of course, was Zexify. Last season he had 2 race wins, but had a lot of bad luck with internet connection and all sorts of things. He's on an outlap. He's just slowed right down as the Williams. And he wants to take pole position, which he did so many times last season. Psycho will want a pole position. it was quite often last season a fight between Zexify and Psycho for P1. So Zexify goes on to his lap then. It's going to be his second fly, the first on his soft compound tyres. How will he compare to Psycho, who's already done that 16 flat? Psycho is just going on to the main straight. So whoever the race director is going to be on with, I will tell you the sector times that the two drivers are doing. Here comes Zexify through the first sector. He's done quite well there. No issues from what I've seen. He's using DRS now. What is his first sector going to be? It's a 28.3s, 2.5 tenths up. To be expected, really. Psycho's coming towards that same point as well, and he's 2 tenths up on his lap time. So Psycho's found a little bit more time in the first sector. Great stuff so far between these two. A couple of more drivers moving into the top 10. Harron Ali as well has moved himself up the leaderboard. Zexify chucks it through the second sector. Brilliant line through those turns 9, 10 and 11. What is his sector time? He's 6 tenths up. This is going to put him on track for a 16.5. Psycho, what is he doing? He is... Well, it says he's down on his sector, so that's a bit of an odd one. He's made a mistake somewhere. Zexify, I'm watching now. He comes round that final corner at Pautada. What's his lap time going to be as he comes towards the line? It's a 16.1. He just misses out. So close. Psycho pits in as he does. Who else is on a lap time? Who else can try and disrupt the chaos that we've seen already? Jolt 7 is currently on a... He's on a lap, but I don't think he's going any quicker. Pusher Dino, great effort from him. Goes up to 4th. It could be Pusher Dino, it could be Pusher Dino, I'm still unsure, but that's still a brilliant effort from the Red Bull. Jolt's not going any quicker. Miles has pulled over. I'm scrolling through. Fetz is off the track. I think that is it, everyone. I don't think anyone's going to go any quicker than that. Psycho, well, he had 2 pole positions last season. He's just got himself a 3rd. What a great effort from Psycho. He might have invalidated his lap, as he says in the comments there, but well done to him. Zexify in 2nd place. Zexify saying, I'm surprised with no practice at all. I'll be honest, I'm not surprised, Zexify. Russell Biffin's 3rd. Pushdino 4th, Jolt is 5th, Miles 6th, J Evans 7th, the 2 Alpines very close together, Billy Misu in 8th, Harron in 9th, and Shortbread, whose AI is going around the track at the moment, is rounding out the top 10. John Wick, the Doctor, Fetz, Gio, Stanchu and Natalie, Joshi and Jackie on Franson round out the 17 drivers tonight. That was a great session to watch. Really, really fascinating to see the fights already. It's very close in the fight for any of the points, really. If we look at the top 3, very close together. Psycho, Zexify, Russell Biffin, 2 tenths separating those 3. But then from 4th backwards, there's only a second from 4th through to practically 16th. I think Jackie on Franson didn't really get his lap together, so there's more time to come from the German driver. But for everybody else, that is a very encouraging sign for lots of racing in today's session. So for those that are in the comments currently at the moment, just put a comment who you think is going to win. Obviously, if you're racing, try not to say yourself, obviously, but this is going to be... I'm very excited. I'm very much looking forward to this for the evaluation race at Gavra, Weekend League 1. Who's going to take the initial race win of the season, even though it doesn't count towards the point standings? Still a psychological blow to rivals if you can pull off a race win here today. So the Mexican fans are lining up watching at the moment in the grandstands. I'm watching well, you're all watching someone fly a Finnish flag, which is, they've made a big trek from Europe to come to Latin America, but there we are. They're all happy. I'm sure you are all going to be happy, and I hope that we can go straight into this race. That's the fingers crossed for everyone. Tension building in the cockpits, of course. They'll be thinking about the strategies, how to get the best launch, trying to find that little bit of gap, little bit of space, a little bit of gaps that they can find. But here we go then, the 5 lights come on for Mexico City at Gavra Racing. And the race is live here from Mexico. Looks like a relatively decent start from the 2 Haas cars. Russell Biffin's already up into second. He's challenging for P1. But Zexify's trying to find a little bit of slipstream from the race leader, which is Psycho. Good stuff so far. Zexify uses that slipstream. Russell Biffin gets sort of moved down. The 2 Alpines make a bit of contact. That's an AlphaTauri round. I think that's Jolt who's gone backwards. Seems like tyre-to-tyre contact. Sadly for him, he's gone round. Miles has been pushed out wide. Russell Biffin's got a penalty, as has, I think it's Jay Evans as well. But currently, Zexify and Psycho are 1 and 2. Pushadino is up to 3rd. Good effort for the Red Bull. Russell Biffin down to 4th. We've got a little bit out-muscled at the start. There is a yellow flag. I think Jay Evans has gone backwards. Yeah, he's just a little bit sideways. Not sure what's happened to him. But he is at least facing in the right direction. A couple of drivers have made some positions up. Stanchu and Natalie, Joshy, they're up 4 places. Great effort for those 2. They're going forward at the moment. Jolt and Jay Evans gone down, sadly, unfortunately for them. But as Gio picks up a penalty already, that's impressive, for multiple warnings on the track, it is Psycho who leads from Zexify, and Zexify already not letting Psycho get away. He knows what will happen. If he lets the Haas driver pull away, he'll be in a world of his own. The 2 soft tyre runners as Russell Biffin goes into the pit. So has he picked up a bit of damage on those soft tyres? Zexify trying to look at the outside line of turn 1 for the Haas. Can he defend the Haas driver? Which he does do. Zexify focusing on the exit for turn 3. He's got a wonderful exit as the Williams driver. Side by side now, coming towards turn 4. Zexify's going to have to do it the hard way. Psycho not giving this up. He's trying to limit the gap. And Psycho dives back up the inside and retakes 1st place. Great effort from those 2. That's good, clean racing to watch from them. Already, Psycho trying to establish the fact that he's not afraid of Zexify. A lot of people know how quick the Williams driver is, but Psycho doesn't want to be the one to buckle under that pressure, and he's got his lead back. Choke racing, some great racecraft already. Pushadino still in 3rd, just having a little bit of a look further back. That's Gio. No, it's not. Joshy, who's gone round through before we got to turn 7, which is a bit of a strange one. That's unfortunate though. The race carries on. Zexify just hounding the back of the Haas rear wing. Of course, both drivers on the soft tyres. One to watch, of course, Miles and Shortbread, both on the medium compound tyres at the moment. They're doing quite well currently, but Zexify back again in the slipstream of Psycho. DRS will be active on this lap. We are on lap 3 now. Drag reduction system, of course, gives the drivers a bit of extra speed, but Psycho defends again from the Williams. He's just not letting this go. Zexify gets a great exit, but he gets arguably trapped underneath the rear wing of Psycho. Didn't get quite the launch he would have wanted. He's alongside, but Psycho will try and push him a little bit wide. No, he doesn't. Zexify's there on the inside. Zexify's kept his nose there. Will they go side by side for turn 8? They're still side by side. This is brilliant racing already. Psycho holds the inside line. He stands his ground and says no. And Zexify cannot get through. This has brought Pushadino and Billy Misu right into the thick of things. So Zexify is going to have to attack and defend as Pushadino really pushes that Red Bull to the limit. Got to say, Pushadino's got no ERS left, which isn't ideal. After 3 laps, there's a car gone backwards. I think it's Harad Ali's had a mistake or an accident. He's out of the top 10, unfortunately. But Zexify will have DRS this time around. He's got half of his battery left, as does Psycho. Will Psycho fight this too much? Doesn't look like he's moving to the inside, but it's more of a token defence, really. Zexify looks to the outside as they approach turn 1. And Zexify straight through with the DRS. Should be easy enough on the brakes. Yeah, he's clear. Zexify into the lead and completes that move. He's got to now try and pull away from the Haas driver. He's got DRS again as well, don't forget, because that's where the drag reduction system works to the advantage of the tracing driver. They get two takes at DRS on that straight to help aid overtaking. But Pushadino and Willie Misu are right there with the front 2 now, thanks to the little bit of squabbling that they've been doing. The 2 medium tyre runners of Miles and Shortbread are in 5th and 6th. as the Doctor picks up another penalty, and Psycho picks up a penalty now. That's not ideal for the Haas driver who was on pole position, and Fetz is in the wall. Fetz has gone into the wall, I think it's at turn 7 or 8. Got no front wing on that Aston Martin. And the man who scored 2 podium positions last season is going to have to take a trip to the pits. Nightmare for him, unfortunately. He joins the drivers at the back of the grid who've already had to pit for a new front wing for whatever reason. Zexify setting the fastest lap of the race. He's already trying to extend that gap to the cars behind. Bit of a fight going on as well between the Doctor and John Wick, but that was easy enough for the Doctor. He moves into 7th. That McLaren proving to have some good straight line speed, with DRS enabled as well, of course. There's another yellow flag. There's a big fight going on for 9th at the moment, because Jackie on Franson has gone round the outside of Gio. Gio pushes Jolty wide. But Jackie O'Franson is up to 9th. He started at the back of the grid. He's up in 9th place at the moment. So that's a really good effort from the Mercedes. It's a huge scrap actually, because Gio, Jolty and Russell Biffin, who's recovering from his earlier pit stop, they're going to try and fight themselves through the field if they can. Russell Biffin didn't actually have a hit, so I think he had a jump start, which is why he's dropped down to 12th place. Psycho could do with a friend in a fight. That's Jolty going up the inside of Gio, a little bit of contact. Where does Russell go? He just stays behind. Sensible driving is... Oh, and that's Gio having a little bit of a wobble on the exit. Through goes Russell, easy enough. Pushadino has come into the pits. So he's got a new fresh set of tyres on. Jackie O'Franson gets up into 8th place. Russell Biffin is going to come out just in front of the Alpha Tauri. It won't bother Russell too much though. He's got tyres that are already warmed up to temperature. Jolty's going to be just getting them up to speed. It's going to take a little bit of time for him. There are fights, of course, all over the track in Weekend League 1 at the moment. So the race director, bless him, is going to have a lot of work to do to try and stay on top of it all. But we're doing a good job so far. Pushadino, by the way, the only driver who's made what you'd call a typical pit stop. It is a little bit early. Everyone from Josh Fetz and Haranali, they've had to make pit stop because of accident damage or whatnot. But Pushadino's gone for an early stop. That's Gio. Gio has had contact with Jolty, I believe, and that is a full-blown safety car. Zexify, Psycho, everyone is piling into the pits at the moment, but Gio is out. The first retirement of the evening, even in Weekend League 2 as well from earlier on. That's a great shame for Gio. The McLaren was having a good fight. I think he's had an accident with one of the other drivers. I also saw another car going backwards. This is why I think that Gio's had an accident with somebody else. But that's thrown it up a little bit. That's certainly changed the dynamic of this race now, because with the safety car, it gives the drivers a chance to swap onto new tyres outside, whichever one they need to do, depending on the state of their race at the moment. Most people coming into the pits currently to bolt on the mediums. It's put Miles 24 in first place, but it's a bit of a unfortunate position for Miles to be in, because the Alpine, he's still got to stop, and everybody else behind him have got medium tyres that will last to the end of the race. So Miles is going to have to hope for another safety car or pit in this lap. He'll lose a heap of places, but at least he'd be on the right strategy. The only problem is that because he started on the medium tyres, ladies and gentlemen, he'd have to go to the hards. The softs won't make it to the end of the race, and that would be difficult for the drivers to deal with. In terms of speed, and even the strategy would be a little bit tricky for them to navigate round. Miles, though, leads the way. So let's have a look at the standings at the moment. Currently, we're going to lap 8. Miles, Zexify, Psycho, Billy Misu, the Doctor, Pushadino, John Wick, Jackie on Franson has gone into the pits. He's elected to go for the hard tyres, so that puts Russell Biffin up into us. He's going to be happy about this safety car. Russell, he was far behind because of his penalty earlier on, but that puts him 8th. Joshy moves up to 9th as well. Jolt's up to 10th. I think Jolt was the one who had the incident with Gio, whether they were directly in contact with one another or they were a subsequent crash damage, whatever went on. Jolty was involved, so he'll be pleased that he's got back into the race. Jackie on Franson's 11th, thanks to his pit stop under the safety car. Stanchu and Natalie in 12th. And a couple of pit stops now as the Ferrari. Shortbread in 13th. Jay Evans in 14th. Fetz in 15th position. He's got a bit of a way to go to catch the safety car. He should be fine, but he'll be conscious of the fact that he's got to try and catch up to it as soon as he can. And then Harran Ali, who's pitted on the most recent lap to put on a set of hard tyres, rounds out the current running order. Gio, the only retirement so far. So, safety car is in this. Well, that was a quick safety car. That's going to, unfortunately, that's going to leave Fetz and Harran Ali pretty much out of this. So Miles is going to be the one to lead the cars around. The Alpine at the front for the first time. The third different race leader we've had in this race. He's got to try and back them up and go when he can. Zexify leaving a very big gap, actually. A huge gap. And Miles goes. He's left us. He's got about a second on Zexify nearly there, which is a bit uncanny from Miles, but well done to the Alpine driver. He's got a great restart. He shouldn't have any issues towards turn 1. He's actually using all of his ERS to keep in front. Looking a little bit further back, Billy Misu's close, but not quite close enough. Jay Evans has spun, unfortunately, for the other Alpine. So you got one Alpine at the front of the traffic and another one at the back. But Zexify might want to change that statistic. He's looking to the outside on Miles at turn 4 on the brakes. They give each other room, and that's easy enough for Zexify. Puts himself into first place, back where he was before the safety car came out. Good move from the Williams driver. Psycho in third still. Now he's the next driver to try and get past Miles. He wants to do it as quickly as possible. If he loses any time to Zexify, that's going to be the race lead and potentially the victory gone. We know how quickly Zexify can pull away. Billy Misu in fourth. The Doctor is in fifth. Pushadino 6th. Good fight between Jolty and everybody, but I think that's Joshy who's gone round. So Joshy has gone backwards, and that's dropped him back down to 14th place. Nightmare for Williams there with that one driver that they've got, but the other one leads the way by nearly a second. Psycho has got to try and get past the Alpine now as soon as he can. This is going to be difficult for him. He is closing the gap. He's not used ERS at all as Psycho. He's shaping for a move, but I don't think he's going to make a lunge, and he doesn't. He just slots in behind the Alpine. He's got to get a good exit now. He was arguably a little bit too tentative there with Psycho because Miles has just pulled away from him. So Psycho's going to have to spend another half a lap at least trying to get back past the Alpine, and that'll be more time spent fighting that will allow Zexify to pull away. Stanchu and Natalie gets past Jackie on Franson, but they are side by side into turn 4. Stanchu went a little bit too deep there and lets Fetz through as well. So Stanchu lost one position as quickly as he... well, lost 2 positions as quickly as he gained 1, so nightmare for the Ferrari. Being a little bit picked on at the moment as the Ferrari the only one in the field at present. Miles still in second place. There's a good cameo up at the front. This, bear in mind, his tyres are 6 laps older. Might not sound like much, but in the grand scheme of a 25% race, it is a big deal. He's just struggled a little bit through the stadium section there. Everybody else on shiny new tyres in comparison, really. Now, will Psycho use ERS now? He is doing. We're on board with Psycho. He's coming towards the back of the rear wing of the Alpine of Miles. Straight up the inside. Breezes on past. This is without DRS as well. How brave is he on the brakes? Is Psycho? It should be deal done, and it is. Into second goes the Haas driver. Fetz now gets himself back past Jackie on Franson. Those two have had a bit of a swap around a couple of times today. But Fetz gets himself into the position just outside of the points. The Doctor's looking for a way past Billy. I've been impressed with the Doctor. His pace so far has been really impressive. And now he's got the opportunity to try and get past Billy Misu. Don't forget, Billy Misu scored a podium last season, was a quick driver. Because Billy Misu just never had the run of the luck that he needed. But fourth place would be a very good way to start his campaign. But the Doctor is doing his absolute utmost to try and change that fact. Don't forget, the Doctor qualified in 12th place, so he's up 7 positions at the moment. And the other thing is the Doctor's going to have DRS coming onto this back straight, whereas Billy Misu doesn't. So this should be, in theory, a pretty straightforward move. ERS, DRS coming up shortly for the Doctor. That rear wing end plate opens up and straight through goes the Doctor. The McLaren breezes on past, no questions asked from Billy Misu. And 4th place belongs to the Doctor. So the Doctor could be on for a podium here, which would be a really brilliant result considering his qualifying position. Russell Biffin's also trying his utmost to get back through the pack as well in the Haas, but he's got a bit more work to do. John Wick in 8th place. Not the actual John Wick, of course. There'd be guns attached to his car if there was. Jolt's in 9th. And then Shortbread just in 10th place. Oh, Jolt looking to make a move up the inside of John Wick at turn 6. That would have been impressive. Doesn't quite get the overspeed he needed to get past, but that was an opportunist move from the AlphaTauri. You've got to give him credit for it. Billy Misu's round! Oh dear, no, that's a nightmare for the AlphaTauri, just as we were watching the other one. He falls down to 10th place. I just said he was doing all right. I've cursed him there, unfortunately. The Doctor picks up a 3-second time penalty. Psycho's back into DRS range, I should say, of the Williams of its Zexify. So that battle for the lead is not over at all. Miles goes into the pits. He's got to drop like a stone, unfortunately. He's got to hope a safety car comes out to help him here. That's going to be really difficult now to try and fight back from. But it was a good cameo at the front for him. Led a race for the first time. Did Miles. I'm sure that'll be something that he can keep in his pocket and remember, draw experience from. Just looking at the fights at the moment. The Doctor now in clear air. Let's see what speed he's got. He's done brilliantly to get up to 3rd after starting 12th, but now can he carry it on? But Psycho at the moment is the one that everybody is watching on the screen because he's within 6/10 almost of the Williams race leader. Watching other fights through the field at the moment. There's a nice line from Zexify as he came through the 2nd sector then. Now this becomes more than just a battle for an on-track position. You know, psychologically, Zexify, he knows how to win races. Psycho also knows how to win races from the front, but for the two of them, they'll be both trying to stamp their mark on the league this season, if they can do. And it will come down to how they're able to respond under pressure, under a lot of different circumstances. Mexico City is an easy track to overtake on, but it's all about having the elbows out and being able to stop the other driver from re-attacking. As I say that, I'm just watching Pushadino almost get past Russell Biffin. Might be able to do it on this lap, actually. He's got no ERS left as Pushadino, but Russell Biffin does. But they're not going to be close enough on this lap. Psycho was almost pushing Zexify through the turn 4 complex then. Didn't quite get through. But this has been a very tense fight between the two of them. That's a good line from Psycho, actually, through the middle sector. As Jackie on Franson gets past Stanchu. There's a yellow flag out there somewhere. Not sure what for. But Psycho trying to line up this move. He's trying to get close enough to be able to attack going into turn 1 at least. And he might just be close enough this time around. Will he use ERS or will he decide to not do that? No, he doesn't. He's going to use DRS again. I think he's trying to push Zexify to use a little bit more ERS than he would want to. I noticed that Zexify did use a little bit of his battery just then. But Psycho is filling the mirrors of that Williams. The Doctor's progress has been stunted. He's still in third, which is great effort. Betts has just got past Billy Misu. Up the inside at turn 1 for 9th. Here goes Zexify! Psycho, they're going to be fighting side by side. Zexify's on the outside line. Psycho, is he just going to brush him past? He is doing. And Psycho takes first place back. He gets it back after these so many laps. He just waited for the right time, did Psycho. Caught Zexify unawares. And look at that, he's sprinting clear almost through that middle sector. Through that turn 7 through to 11 complex. But Zexify's not out of this yet, folks. He's right in the slipstream. He's still there within half a second or so. And he'll want his position back. He'll want to prove a point with the Williams. Just clambers over the curbs a little bit rash. Just got to take a moment just to calm down, bring himself back up to what he was doing before. As Psycho uses the ERS, they're both using ERS now. Just looking through the field. No real savers of ERS left. Zexify filling the mirrors of Psycho, but he's not going to be close enough. Can he try and catch out Psycho like Psycho did the lap before? I don't think he's quite close enough. No, Zexify getting caught out by Psycho because of that little twitch. But there we go. Psycho right in the lead at the moment. Zexify right up his rear wing. And now here comes the psychology again for the drivers. You know, Psycho now the leading driver. He's got to defend. Zexify, the attacking driver, he's got no worries behind him. He's just got to try and fight past that Haskell. But Psycho was unbelievable in that middle sector. He's just pulled 4 tenths on Zexify. I didn't think Zexify had done a bad 7, 8, 9 turns, 10 and 11 as well. But Zexify just couldn't live with the speed of that Haskell at all. And Psycho's pushing it almost beyond DRS range. This is impressive. John Wick picks up a time penalty. Do apologise for everybody. Oh, that statue has... Oh, no, it's actually... Joshy has retired from the session. I think he's gone off, actually, has Joshy. Yeah, he's crashed, so not ideal. Zexify, though, right underneath the rear wing of Psycho. Cut back to that, because that's more important than watch anything else. Zexify, will he look to the inside? No, he goes to the outside line as they approach turn 4. Will he be able to hold it around the outside? Psycho just breaks a little bit later, blocks the inside for turn 5 and 6. And Zexify gets that 3-second time penalty. This is a straight fight now for the race victory. Psycho will be chuffed at that, because he knows now that he just has to defend for his life. And he'll be able to keep Zexify away from the race win. And look at the speed that Psycho has again through second sector. Absolutely brilliant in that section. He pulls away from Zexify. A little bit more downforce evidently on the two cars. As John Wick, not only did he pick up time penalty, I think he's also gone off, unfortunately for him. But that's not worth focusing on. This is it, the final lap. There are a couple of opportunities for Zexify to try and make a move. Both drivers using ERS. Psycho had a marginally more than Zexify, but it's all a moot point now. Zexify closes the gap. He's got it to 3 tenths, but it won't be enough. On the brakes. This is all going to come down to the exit speed from Zexify. Can he get a good run? It's not bad, but he's not quite close enough. He's just not there. The Haas driver has done enough so far. Zexify not looking for a move into turn 4. He's going to have to try and do something unconventional. Oh, that was unconventional. I didn't see that often from Zexify. A big snap of oversteer. But he is pushing the limits of everything that he has in that Williams car, everything at his disposal. He's just not close enough, and we know how good Psycho is in this second sector. He just eases away. Zexify doing his utmost to get close enough. There's a little a little wiggle of the wheel, did Sexify then? Was that a little concede? Was that him conceding? I don't know, but it's still really close. Sexify trying everything. This is the final corner, but he's not close enough. Psycho SM takes the first win of the season here at Mexico. Zexify, great results in second. A great fight between those two. The Doctor, what a result for him. Third position, up 9 places. Wonderful effort for him. That's a great effort. But he loses that position because of his time penalty. Russell Biffin gets third. The Doctor ends up fourth. Jolt fifth. Pochettino sixth. Shortbread seventh. Fetz in 8th place. Billy Misu should hold on to 9th. John Wick 10th. Jackie on France in 11th. Miles, who briefly led the race, 12th. Harren Ali, Stanchu and Natalie, and Jay Evans, who has no front wing, is going to finish 15th place. Whew, take a breath, everyone. That was some race between the top two. That was a really, really good effort between those two. Great respect shown on track, great overtaking and fighting. Psycho getting the better of Zexify for the evaluation race. And well done to Russell Biffin as well. He made it a double Haas podium, a first and a third. And considering that he had that penalty at the start, he's done excellently to finish in third position. But it's Psycho, the one who has the race victory. Well done to him. Driver of the day went to the McLaren there. That was Dr. V1, and that's very well deserved because he had an excellent race as well. Fastest lap in the end did go to Psycho, an 18.3, marginally faster than Zexify. That was great to watch. Let's have a quick run through, just to see where a couple of drivers, Jackie on Franson went up 6 places. That was a good drive for him. John Wick getting the final point there. Billy Misu finishing in the points, which is important. Of course, despite his little mistake earlier, I think he went off earlier. I think he had a little spin, but nonetheless, he did okay. Jolt was 5th. I think Jolt also had issues at the start of this race. I think he was somewhat involved in the accident with Gio, I believe. He was in the scene anyway. But Jolt finishes 5th, which is a very strong effort. So good points for AlphaTauri. Both AlphaTauri drivers looking pretty decent, as are the 2 Haas drivers, of course. Shortbread, former champion, 7th place for him. He'll be hoping for more if he decides to come in and join for the season. But that was some great racing. What a lovely opening set of races we have had at Gavra Racing Week. In both this race we've just had in the Weekend League 1 and of course the Weekend League 2. Sexify, yes, Psycho did race last season. He was PSU and then became Psycho. He was driving the McLaren last season. Evidently the changeover to Gene Haas has given him a little bit more of a kick up the backside from Gunter Steiner as well. So here we go then. We've got the calendar draw coming up now, everyone. Let's see. This is what we're waiting for now. Let's see who will, well, I'd rather say who. Let's see, actually, would be the answer. What track is going to be filling the couple of rounds? Rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9 and 10, obviously, for the typical 25% races. But the 5 and 6 are the sprint race and the 50% races as well. A couple of drivers saying, please don't pick these tracks. It's all random. And I am looking forward to seeing how Gav spins this. I'm very excited. Loads of different tracks, of course, available for everybody to compete at. Gavra just putting a couple of messages in the chat room so we can get full visibility.
on what will make up the 5 race circuits for this season, for season 11. The real action obviously gets underway 5 PM UK time on the 29th of January. Here goes the spinner. Oh, it's Singapore! First round of the season. Well, Singapore, a very difficult circuit to navigate around the streets of Yas Marina, over that Anderson Bridge, of course. Famous races through there. Singapore is going to be the first one that's drawn. That's a very tricky opening round. But good luck to everyone. Second round, here we go. Ooh, where's that gonna stop? Oh, I thought we were gonna get Singapore again there, but we got Brazil for races 3 and 4 of the season. Brazil will be very interesting to see how the drivers get on around the circuit of Sao Paulo. Also, Dromo Oscar Alfredo Galvez track promotes rounds 3 and 4 of the season at Brazil. What's going to be the 50% race then? This is going to be the challenging one alongside the sprints. Oh, it's China! It is China, the race that technically isn't on the season calendar, but China gets the draw in the end. Wow, fantastic. A couple of drivers in the comments saying that they didn't want that. Oh dear. So, round 7 and 8. What is going to be on the calendar for round 7 and 8? Oh, it's Japan. Around Suzuka. Honda test track, of course. Built in the 1960s. That will be a challenging circuit, especially as it's also a track that is quite susceptible to wet weather within the game and in real life. So that will be very intriguing. Now, the final round. What's it going to be? Oh my goodness. It's drawn Brazil again. Surely Gav's gonna spin the wheel again. He is. Spins it round and round and round. Oh my, there's no way it's drawn again. That is impossible. Right, third time lucky. Oh, Saudi Arabia, wow. That is the calendar then for this season here at Gavra Racing. Singapore, Brazil, China, Japan and Saudi Arabia. Well, that is going to be a very fascinating calendar, I've got to say. 3 of those races taking part in Asia, of course, 1 in the Middle East and 1, of course, in South America. That is, it's certainly a challenge for the drivers. It's not going to be easy. There might be a lot of gaps as well in the races. But it was a very good calendar draw in the end, despite Brazil evidently trying to buy their way into 2 races this season. No European tracks, no North American tracks either. Well, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Season 11 starts next week, 29th of January at Singapore. It is going to be one hell of a calendar and one hell of a season coming up in the next 5 weeks. Do make sure you follow Gavra Racing, of course, on Twitch and on YouTube, on all social platforms. Take a look at the website as well. If you want to know how to get involved more with Gavra Racing, please do go on the Gavra Racing website. Even as well, the Discord, do sign up. I'm very excited for next week's racing. I'll be commentating, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me a little bit more clearly as well, which will be great news. But thank you very much for watching, and wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one. See you next week.